Well, this has sucked. We had five of the best days of New York sports of my lifetime. And being at WFAN for all of it has been awesome. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday last week. 5 days, 5 wins. Knicks, Rangers, Knicks, Rangers, Knicks, Rangers, Knicks, Rangers. And since then, well, this is a disgrace, bro. To borrow a phrase from the great Joe Benigno, I'm like I'm a little bit lost for words when it comes to this. It's so frustrating. It's so incredibly frustrating. But Jalen Brunson, superstar, Knicks superstar, said it best. Said it's a long fucking series. So he said leaving the court the other day in Indiana, and he's right. In the case of the Rangers, unfortunately, it really didn't have to be, but now it is. They folded in game four, rather, just came out totally flat. And then game five, after going up 1-0, they threw it back to the Henrik years, 2015. Go up 1-0 and then just sit in your defensive zone. Sorry, this team can't play that way. That team can barely play that way. And they lost. And now you have to go back to Carolina, and the pressure is probably on you because you don't want to come back home for a game 7. You don't want that kind of pressure on you. I expect this Ranger team to respond. But we talked about this team barely having to face adversity in these playoffs. Here's some adversity. Here's a kick in the teeth. I guess they're a team of streaks. They win 7 in a row. Now they've lost 2 in a row. Boy, it's a long series. Yeah, that's true. What a tough series for the Knicks. What a tough weekend in Indiana. Because on Friday night, the Knicks had an opportunity. And that's the key. And that's what I want to talk about. Missed opportunities. Both for the Rangers and the Knicks. The Knicks had the missed opportunity. Or sorry, the Rangers had the missed opportunity. Talked about last year. Talked about 2 years ago. Up 2-0 against Tampa. Last year, up 2-0 after 2 wins on the road in New Jersey against the Devils. This time you're up 3-0. You had 2 opportunities. You blew them both. You blow another one, it's going to be a rough scene at Madison Square Garden for game 7. For the Knicks, despite the injuries, I get it, there were a lot of injuries. And I said it would be 2-2 after 4 and all that. And I want to just be like, okay, relax. But think about this. Like, if it weren't for the injuries, I would be able to say, just relax. It's 2-2 after, win a game at home and then see what happens. And I still believe that. Win game 5 at home. But think about it. Nembhard hits that 1 in a million shot. If Nembhard doesn't win that shot, the Knicks win game 3. The Pacers fold like a cheap chair, like a cheap table, whatever the phrase is. They fold. That's it. It's over. They go down 3-0. They're the most fair weather team ever. Halliburton threw it to Nembhard because he didn't want to take the shot, by the way. Halliburton's been, he's been terrified to take the big shots. And all of a sudden he's, galloping around and frolicking and skipping around the court when they're winning by 40 in game 4. When it's come to the tough, when it's come to the nitty gritty, the close games, I trust the Knicks every time. And they lost one. They let one slip. And that's the frustrating part. Because the Knicks are still the better team. They closed out game 2 without OG Anunoby. And they really almost won game 3 without OG. Game 4 caught up to them. It's everything. It was the missed opportunity, the quick turnaround, the minutes, all that. And I'm not blaming Tibbs for the minutes. He doesn't have a choice at this point. But he had an opportunity to go up 3-0. That close. Instead, now the series is tied at 2, and it feels like all the momentum has shifted to Indiana. That's a missed opportunity. Jalen's not right. No OG, no Mitch, no Bogey, no Julius, obviously. And with all that, you still could have closed out game 3. Still closed out game 2. Look, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward in the series. I really don't. I like the Knicks could win by 20 in game 5. They could lose by 20 in game 5. And then it's like, okay, clearly they're totally cooked. Or it'll be close again. But if it's close, I like the Knicks. I like them at home. I like them at MSG. And the biggest concern for me is not even OG Anunoby. Is Jalen Brunson right? Because if Jalen Brunson is not right, then it's a wrap. If Jalen Brunson is fine, they can tread water. They can win game 5. They have the extra day before game 6. Maybe OG comes back. Even if not, he can come back for a game 7. And I still like their odds in a game 7 with OG healthy at home at Madison Square Garden. They just need to find a way to win game 5. They desperately need it. And every time this team has responded. This is the first time after a loss the Knicks haven't responded. And when they went down 20 so early, I was like, come on. 20 early. Knicks got this. They'll be right in this game. And they weren't. That was the first time. I'm sure Tibbs looks around and was like, man, it's finally caught up to us. And again, not Tibbs' fault. I mean, that is the most moronic take ever. The people were blaming Tom Thibodeau. Like, the Knicks are actually an extremely deep team. That's what you don't realize. Think about how many guys have played for the Knicks in these playoffs. Whether it's, again, or throughout the season. Bogdanovich goes down. They sustain that. Mitchell Robinson goes down. They sustain that. Julius Randle goes down. They sustain that. Next man up, next man up. OG goes down. They pretty much sustain it. They're actually a really deep team, and they just have gotten hurt in fluky ways that sucks. And it's easy to point the finger and blame Tom Thibodeau because that's what's easier for you than just admitting and accepting it sucks that we got hurt. And it's unfortunate and it's unlucky, especially with how easy the East is looking, especially with how beatable at times Boston, even in this series against Cleveland where they're up 3-0, looks. It's extremely frustrating. It's not Tom Thibodeau's fault. It's not the fault of the guy who got you here in the first place, because that's what Tom Thibodeau is. He brought you here. By the way, it's the Rami Lavi podcast. You can subscribe, share the page. I'd appreciate it. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton, I am so sick of Tyrese Halliburton. He is such a fair-weathered guy. Passes off the biggest shot of the series to Nembhard because he's scared to take it. But when they're up big, he's dancing around and talking smack. You're a loser, Tyrese Halliburton. You have the ball late in the game, ball in your hands. I am praying for that. I hope that happens because I want to see you fold, just like the rest of this Pacer team. They fold when the pressure's on. Knicks just have to come out at home with the Madison Square Garden crowd behind them and put the pressure on, turn it up, ratchet up. Jalen Brunson has to come out and be Jalen Brunson. But the Knicks wouldn't be in this position. This is the first time in my lifetime as a fan watching them, other than when I was a baby, that they've gone to back-to-back second rounds of the playoffs. They made the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. They're a 4 seed, then a 5 seed, then a 2 seed. They won 50 games. You know why? Because of Tom Thibodeau. They have guys who play hard and try hard and care and play defense and play every night and want to play every night. I want to be out there because of Tom Thibodeau, because of the tone he sets. So we're not going to turn around and blame that guy. Hey, Mitchell Robinson's hurt. Blame Tom Thibodeau. Kristaps Porzingis is hurt. Blame Tom Thibodeau, right? There's other injuries around the league. Giannis, Dame, they were both hurt in the Bucks series. We're blaming Tom Thibodeau for those too? How about Joel Embiid? We blaming him? Well, we are blaming him. Is he blaming Tom Thibodeau for his injury? I don't think so. It's a dumb, tired, stupid narrative. You're an idiot if you're blaming Tom Thibodeau. You really are. Just sucks. Just win game 5 at home. That's all I got to say. And if Jalen Brunson's Jalen Brunson, and look, I'm not looking forward to the tweet that we hear later this offseason. Jalen Brunson had surgery to repair a fractured right foot, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to make me feel any better when I hear that later this offseason. This dude's a freaking warrior. I love Jalen Brunson, but man, if he's not himself, if he's himself, I expect him to go off and score 40 points in game 5 and just pull a game out of his ass and just get it to game 6. Just force at least that the worst case scenario is there'll be a game 7 at MSG. That's what I expect from Jalen Brunson in game 5. But if he's not right, if he's not himself, I don't know. This might be over. We might actually be cooked for the first time. It sucks. It was a magical season, and it still has a chance to be. All right, that's going to do it for me. Just a quick one today. Buy the hats, buy the t-shirts. Appreciate it. Support me. Use the code Rami at hugahouse.com. Link is in the description. Weird story on by Connor Hughes about Nate Hackett. Check that out on the In-Flight Snack podcast, now known as Believe in Jets from the Believe Podcast Network. Kind of broke down that article. He said that the Jets desperately tried to replace Nate Hackett this offseason, failed. I don't know why they failed. He wasn't clear on that. Also, Brandon Nimmo, how great is he? He's like the most clutch athlete in New York since, at least in baseball. He's the most clutch baseball player in New York since Derek Jeter. I mean, it feels that way every time the Mets are desperate for a big hit. And this tonight was an awful loss. Another blown save for Edwin Diaz. That just told you this guy can't blow a save with after the way the trumpets and the lights and all that at Citi Field this year. It's kind of a rough look to be blowing saves after that. And I said this on a couple episodes ago, but Aaron Judge, he's back. He's all the way back now. Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge, so that's good. All right, Rami LV podcast. Like, subscribe, share with a friend. Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Appreciate the support. And until next time, I will see y'all later.